Thanks again for joining me in Business Doctor. As we embark on a journey to be self reliant in your chosen area, skillfully and knowledge wise, it is paramount to learn a lot of things for a period of time. Through these videos are such things available to you. Yes, you got it. You are going to know some insights on learnings per se before you start learning new things. So that puts the first question, why do we need to learn? That's an interesting topic by itself. If you think learning is by choice is difficult, that means you are not interested in learning anything which you wanted to know or which you should have known, then the life will make you to learn by experience. Under these conditions, you won't have any choice not to learn that because you will be pushed to the wall and you don't have a choice except to learn. This will be very hard and it will be forced on you, and at that moment the lack of knowledge or the skill will be a kind of disability for you. You would have seen a lot of such things in the stories or movies, like somebody is not able to read what is the name of the place the bus is going to, or what is the time. The person may have a golden watch, but he doesn't know how to find the time in the watch. So he has to rely on somebody else. So when such things happen over a period of time, the life will start dictating those kind of experiences which you can't escape from. And the repercussions will be serious depending upon the situation or depending on what you missed out in life. So, having set the goal, as we discussed in the first few videos, you in the chosen area, you start learning and be sincere to that goal. And remember, after all, it is going to help you only. Learning is first reading in mind about all the inputs. The inputs might come to your ears or eyes or to nose or to your body or by touch or by some kind of sense or feelings. So try to read those things in mind, then begin to understand in mind and practice to gain that knowledge and skill to completely comprehend in order to reproduce that whatever you learned when needed in a similar or in a near similar situation in life in future or at that time. But the importance of that is you should not take that much of time to execute or to do that part as compared to the time you have taken for learning. Suppose you have to learn something new, like how to use, say for example, Google search, or how to use a laptop, or how to use a spreadsheet, or how to use a mobile, or how to repair a fan. And learning might take a longer time for you to understand because it's the first time you are going through. Okay. But once you learned and once you practice, then in any similar situation in the future, you should not take more time or as time as you took to learn. So the learning gets exhibited under these kind of situations. Learning involves just not hearing or seeing or getting a sense of feel or something. It involves observation, which you have to carefully observe. We saw in patients, right, how to observe carefully. So observation, and we discussed about comprehension and understanding. Once we take these two, the next one is that we need to validate internally. Like the fire is hot and it will burn your fingers if you touch it. Then sometimes you have to experience it by physically touching it, or sometimes you have to validate internally, maybe by comparing this with some other scenarios or a logical sense of thinking, or maybe you have an experience in the past which will help you to understand and put the context in the in an effective sense. Okay, so that you do the same thing in future as well. There is no need for learning if you decide not to use that experience or get into those areas. For example, I know that I cannot be a ATP number one ranker in tennis circle. So I don't need to practice to or get that knowledge or skill to go into that level of expertise or experience or learning. But playing ATP may help my fitness. That's a different topic altogether. But to that extent, the learning is decided in that fashion, not for the reason of becoming a ATP number one. And sometimes what will happen is that it's better to learn a few things or at least many things in the early age so that you can use it at a later age in an appropriate way. So if you look at curriculum in the context of education, the way they have structured, the way the growth from standard lower level to the higher level, whatever you want to study. Okay, the way it has been structured, possibly it gives you a kind of an approach to how you learn, whether you follow any type of education or you follow any training programs for or any topic. It could be a PMI, or it could be a simple Excel sheet training, or it could be a PowerPoint presentation training, or it could be a subject in accountancy, or it could be something in physics or science or mathematics. The way they probably structured is that they will give you that experience of structured learning of the purpose of the education. You remember that we discussed about the multidimensional approach related to goals. The same way, start plotting your experience or the areas which you want to learn on a polygon today and over a period of time. Probably initially you may have to do it in the monthly or a shorter duration. Maybe over a period of time you can give your experience or learning over a period of yearly or something like that. The other important aspect is that it's not just you are going to learn a maths or how to play tennis or how to be an accountant. You have to also learn a lot of things about the personality per se, which we discussed for the roles like DISC or any other type of test, personality test. So you need to understand for your own self, and you have to also learn a few things about how an attitude matters or aptitude or some value systems like what is integrity, honesty, discipline for that matter, punctuality, trust. So you have to learn all those things. This could be, you can call it as a soft, it can be hard, doesn't matter. For a holistic learning, you need to have all these things, because if you don't have the trust or if people don't trust you, irrespective of your knowledge and how big you are or how knowledgeful you are, it won't matter because there is no trust. So like that, some life lessons you may have to learn, like how to take it, how to share, how to give it to others. So practice these learning skills over a period of time and see the progress for yourself. Okay, you may also take a role model, for example, and start looking at that role model and practice. But you can't do it blindly because the way the role model behaves under such situation, you may not know. So taking a role model per se is okay, but you need to be careful. You need to apply that situation for yourself, and you can't blindly follow. That's my suggestion to you. Okay, so you start practicing it and plot the polygon over a period of time and see for yourself how you are able to learn and you're able to sustain the learning over a period of time. Thank you very much for your time today. We'll meet you soon in the next session. Have a great day. Cheers.